Make sure I can throw a few things. Hopefully nobody got hurt. It's so great to be here. Amazing, amazing. First and foremost, I want to thank you for taking your Saturday to come here. That's amazing. When I was walking here this morning, I didn't even know what day it was. So that's what happens when we're on the road. Some of our staff actually spent last weekend in Europe in the event in Budapest. And so then they're here today. So I wanted to get started a little bit and tell a story. So that, because if I look familiar, a lot of people tell me that. They say, you look familiar to me. Now let me tell you a story about that. So about 2 years ago, my wife and I, Gloria, I'm so happy that she can come with me, we went to a concert, a music concert with the band Journey. Does everybody know Journey?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in a big arena, and inside the arena, it's where they play basketball, and so it's seats maybe 20,000 people. And just before the concert started, she had to use the restroom, and she went out, but she forgot what entrance we were sitting. And she was gone for so long. And when she came back, I asked her, I said, what happened? And she said, well, I came back in, and I was trying to find the white bald man. And the Journey, there's going to be a lot of men in their 50s and 60s there. And so if I look familiar, all you have to do is do this. And some of us look very much the same. So appreciate you being here. If you don't, if you lose your way, try to find the guy with the shiny head. So happy to be here. This is an amazing journey. A journey is such that 10 years ago, I was actually in Australia setting up this market. So for those of you that don't know, I've been with the company, this is my 12th year. And originally I came to ASEA to build the manufacturing center that we call the Redox Center. And that was my background, manufacturing and distribution. And I had apprehensions about working for a multi-level marketing company. Does anybody ever have that before? Okay, I'm thinking I'm a serious professional, 25-year career. I don't know if I want to take a chance on that industry. But I saw something that was very unique. And I thought, I have never seen anything like that. Matter of fact, when I first saw the company, I went down and I toured the facility, knowing that they needed a new facility. And this is the honest truth. This is no embellishment. I went home, my wife said, how was that? And I said, hey, that company's going out of business. Who would know that 13 years after that, I'd be standing on this stage in the position that I hold, being the ambassador for the company. The company didn't go out of business, by the way. So I want to take you on a journey today and give you a little bit about the vision of ASEA. So what is a vision? A vision is something that we see in the future. It's aspirational. So it's something we aspire to be. If you look at the word aspire, it has the word spire in it, which means the pinnacle, the top. And so when we put together a vision statement for the company, that's what we're doing. We're saying, how do we get to the top? So that's what we're trying to do. The vision statement for ASEA has not changed. This is the original statement that Bertus founded the company on. So if you look, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, you've seen this repeated in other people's slides, is that our first and foremost goal is to become the recognized leader, the global leader in cellular health and redox-based technologies. That's the purpose of the company. So there was a technology that was found, and that was first, before the company ever thought of being in existence. So the technology came first. The second thing is we feel like there is a moral obligation to share these life-changing products. That's our mission. That's what we want to do. That's why we're here. And then the third part is that we want to be able to share a very unique opportunity with our culture. So if you've been part of this industry before, you will probably think, wow, that's different. And it's different by design because this is the way we approach the business. First and foremost is you will never see a decision with this company made that we will put the profits of the company above our ethics. You will not see that. That's not the way we operate. Every decision that we make must be a moral and an ethical decision. And hopefully by having that disciplined and principled approach, we will be profitable. And that's the desire of the company. That's the way that we run the business. So it should feel different to you because we do have a different mission there. Okay, within that, we're going to break this down into 3 sections and go a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about the redox technologies, and you saw a lot about that yesterday. You saw that we shared some science with you, and I'm actually going to tie this in and show you how to use that science when you should and when you shouldn't. Okay, this is a little bit different market in the fact that how our product is registered. The other thing is, I want you to understand this is a global business. I was on a call yesterday morning before the session started, and I was in the hotel room, and I told my wife, I said, if people only understood the complexity of this business, they would say, why are you doing that? We are a global business operating in 33 different countries, 35 if you count 2 countries that aren't totally open, but we ship product to. 17 to 20 languages at any one time are spoken in our company. So it's a very vast global operation. And then the other thing is we offer a very unique financial opportunity, but on top of that is a culture. And a culture is a community. It's people come together because they have a certain way of thinking, and they want to be with other people that think the same way. That's the culture of the company. So let's talk about those 3. The reason we're sharing these studies with you is we need everybody here to understand that we know that this product and this product set is totally unique. You don't have to know everything about redox signaling. You don't have to know everything about the science behind it. You just have to have the conviction that it works. And I've heard some wonderful stories. So thank you for sharing those. But let me tell you something. I hear those same stories and product experiences repeated all over the world. So this is not placebo. This is not something that's nice. This is something that's real. And these studies show you that they're real. The disadvantage you have is you can't always use those in certain markets. Okay? That's okay. They're there. You know that they're there. You can point to them. If somebody has questions, that's fine. But I have never seen a single time in this business that someone looked at a study and said, yes, I'm interested in that business. It is your conviction, the things that you have in your heart that will touch other people, that will cause them to take a look at this. So remember that. So I'm going to show you some things that we're studying. Now keep in mind, this is global. And we use global partners for a reason. When we set up a university study, it's because that specific researcher at that university has an area of discipline that they want to study. What's interesting is if you look at the history of the company and you go back 12 to 15 years, there was very few people that actually wanted to participate in those studies or do them. And now we actually have universities and different labs that are coming to us. And they say, hey, we're really interested and we would love to study your product. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. So here we are in Spain. Dr. Boris, she's doing studies for us. Hunter covered these yesterday in a wonderful, wonderful manner. So we're going to look at different elements of the product, and this one just happened to be tied to a study on longevity. So what we're doing is we're taking the technology and we're verifying it. That's what we do as a company. If we did not believe it, you would not see any of these studies. I will tell you that there are years that we spend in the low 7 figures on studies. We would not do that. We could use that money in other ways. We do that because it helps us learn about the product. So that first study. What this study demonstrated is that the long-term regular use of ASEA had an impact. So remember that. It's not just a one and done. If somebody takes it and says, hey, I didn't feel anything, well, guess what? You're not supposed to. It's just like exercise. People say, hey, I need to exercise. And they go one day and they think, I didn't lose any weight. I didn't get any stronger. I guess it doesn't work. Well, that's not the case here. So with a study like this, what we're demonstrating is make sure that you have consistent usage. Okay, second study. Same university, same researchers, and what they're doing is they're looking at the supplementation of regeneration. So does it actually impact your cells and help them respond? You don't need to know all the details. All you need to know is that what we are doing is we are looking deeper and deeper. When I first started with the company, we would measure the redox signaling molecules in parts per million. Over time, we became more and more sophisticated and educated, got better and better equipment, and now we're able to look at parts per billion. Now let me give you an idea of what a billion is. Your heartbeat over 35 years, or between 30 and 35 years, you will have a billion heartbeats. We have the ability to look at one heartbeat in 30 plus years. That's parts per billion. That's what we test in our lab. And so when we do this, we're just looking for validation. We're also looking for different ways to help the product become even better. If you were here 10 years ago, what was the expiration date on ASEA Redox supplement? Does anybody remember?
12 months.
It was 12 months. Over time, we've learned to make it stable for a longer period of time. These are highly reactive molecules. So that's what we're doing with the research. We're making it more efficacious. We're making it also so that it has longer stability. These are all the things we're doing. And we need these studies to help us know what direction. Again, keep in mind these are global. So let's go to the United Kingdom. So some of you might say, why would you do these studies on Renew 28? Now, there's so much more that we can say about Renew 28 because it's classified as a cosmetic in all markets. The difficulty with the ASEA Redox supplement is in some places like the United States, it's a dietary supplement. Here in Australia, New Zealand, it's a food. And a lot of time it's because the regulators don't know where to put it. There's no other products that are like it. So they say, okay, we'll say you're a food, you can't say anything about it. That's a disadvantage. It still works. The product didn't change. It's still the same. So a lot of times you'll see we do studies on Renew 28 to signify to you that the redox signaling molecules, the same technology, in a different product, are very, very powerful. So you look at the University of Bath study, we looked at glutathione levels. Amazing study. The interesting thing about this is after we did this study, here's the increases, and you can take pictures of this. One thing I want to say though is be very careful what you share on social media. Okay, this is a closed meeting. You're here. We can share these things with you. Be careful what you share on social media. This right here, you can share because it's a cosmetic. These are results on a cosmetic. These are topical applications. I will tell you, one of the funniest stories I ever heard was when this market opened in Australia and New Zealand, because all you had was Renew 28 to start. And I don't know how many times I told people, do not eat Renew 28. And some of you are laughing. Bart, I see you. You probably ate it. And I heard some of the craziest applications. Some of them I can never repeat. But just put it on your skin, okay? Don't eat it. It does have double the concentration levels of what we drink, but it's a different product. It's made for your skin. So these are amazing results. From these studies, what happens sometimes, and this is the next study, is that the university researchers will tell us something else we should study. So with this next study at the University of Bath, the researchers said, we think you should do this. So we made 4 different versions of Renew 28, and they studied it. So what is that leading to? That's leading to product development. So we begin to understand how far can we push this technology. This is a tremendous advantage with the company because we control the technology. Somebody else doesn't make the product for us. Well, over time, originally we had some patents on the technology. Over time, we stopped issuing patents. We stopped filing them. The reason is because we didn't want anyone to know, because patents have to be reviewed and they also run out over time. So everything that we've done in the last 10 years or so has been intellectual property. So we have hundreds of intellectual properties on the products, on the technology, on the equipment, everything. And sometimes even like Renew 28, the material of the tube is very, very specific to the technology. So that sometimes a study will lead to another study. Again, global. So think global on this. Right here in Australia, one of our most impactful studies. And as Hunter mentioned yesterday, thank you for your tax dollars because you paid for the study. That's amazing. So sometimes we even get countries that will say, we have a budget for these studies. We'd like to cover part of your expenses. So this leads to new technology. What we're doing is we're zooming in on what we call the pathways. Where do we signal? Where is it actually happening? I will tell you that Vertus Norton, he had a vision. He knew there was something here. And the amazing thing is, it's better than he ever thought. It's better. And I can tell you that with 100% confidence. Okay, again, global. Here we have a study in Chile. We're not even opened in that market. We don't have any plans to open that market. So if you have Chilean friends, I'm sorry, it's not on the agenda right now. And here's another study where we're going to look at, does it have an impact in your mouth and in your gut? So how is it absorbed? We talked about that the molecules, these high energy, tiny molecules, are absorbed. This has actually led to another study, an oral study, where another university wants to do that. They want to look at the results. So for those of you, when you go to the dentist, have they ever said, your teeth and your gums are amazing? I just went to the dentist probably 2 weeks ago. And they make that comment every single time. What are you using? I said, redoxycycline molecules. They say, what is that? And then you try to explain it, and then they say, okay, see you later. See you next time.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes these studies lead to another study. The other thing is we also look at dosage. How much do you take? And I will tell you that your body weight does matter. It does matter. So if you're larger, you should probably take a little bit more. If you're smaller, you're going to take a little bit less. So that's how specific we're looking at that. The recommended dosage, what we say, is a maintenance dose is 4 bottles a month. That's maintenance. If you're a little bit more or less, whatever, then you're going to alter that. I would suggest that you try different dosages and see what works best for you. Okay, so we're looking at that. Continue with one of our very best partners here, Dermatest in Germany. So they're actually the one that when we designed ASEA, they came back, with Renew 28, they came back with the results. Now the way we started with Renew 28 was that this product was 100% developed by ASEA after the company was founded. And this was right after I started with the company. And we saw a lot of people spraying the ASEA Redox supplement on their skin. And I had just come from a company that specialized in gel products. And so I said, I think we can make this into a gel. And that's what we did. And we presented it to Vertus Norton. We went to his home. He had a basement set up where there was a little kitchen in the basement, a nice family room. We had a meeting in there. And we made up a little batch right there for him, showed him that we could emulsify the product. That means we could thicken it. And this was in January. And he said, can this be ready for our global convention in May? And I was new to the company. I'd been there a year or so. And I wanted to make a name for myself. And I said, yes, Vertus, we can do it. And I remember driving away thinking, how am I going to do this? We have no equipment, we have nothing. Guess what? We did it. It was there. When we looked at this product, we were looking at something that maybe could help with wounds. That's how we developed it. And then we came back and we saw these great results with skin elasticity, with moisture retention, and then as you saw yesterday, we even have studies that it increases blood flow. Now, if the gel does that, and you can talk about the gel, it's up to you to tie it to the supplement, to the drink, okay? So that's why we do these studies. These also lead to new directions in what we're trying to do. We also have to continue to do safety studies. Every 10 years or so, we issue new safety studies on the product because over time, we've actually been able to concentrate the redox signaling molecules to a higher level. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that our safety data is always up to speed. We will do safety studies in a couple different ways. We'll do those with different laboratories, and what we're looking at is different dosage. We're making sure that no matter what you do, that you can take this product in a safe manner. These are human studies, so these are people would take the product and we would study them. You got to make sure there's no ill effects from these products. Okay. So again, think of global. So here we go. We went one in the United States. Now we have another study with Eurofins. Eurofins is a global company, so we can use multiple labs when we do this. And the reason we're doing this is we need to make sure that the product is always safe. And as we go to new markets and register the product, then this is what they look at. They look at safety studies. So I actually had a question, what about Thailand? So Thailand, we've been trying to get registered for 5 years on the product. And they keep saying we need to do more safety studies. So we've done our safety studies, submitted it to them. The Thai government has done theirs twice, and we're still waiting. So I would say for those of you that are interested in Thailand, just continue to wait. Okay, so those are safety studies. Those are the different studies. Like I said, those are not meant to convince. They're simply there so that you understand the company continues to study the technology. If you have the opinion that you need to convince somebody that this is amazing, you should probably move on. What you want to do is simply share. Share your experiences. I have heard amazing stories. Share those stories with people. Make sure you're doing that so that they know, hey, this is something I want to try. It must come from your heart. Don't look at somebody as a financial impact, because that will backfire. Simply look, can I help that person have a higher quality of life? That's it. Keep it very simple in what you're doing. Okay, so like I said, keep it global. Here's the interesting thing. For those of you that don't know my history with the company, I've been here long enough that every dot on that map, I've helped set up the distribution on the globe. So that was my original job. When I started, I was the vice president of operations. Then I moved to senior vice president of global operations. Then I moved to chief operating officer, president, and now my current role. So I would say, I know what's going on, okay? I know what's happening in the company, and that's a little bit different in the fact that for the previous time that I've been in the company, I've been highly tactical. That means that I needed to execute and make sure things happen. Now my role is to be strategic. It's also to face you and to make sure you know where the company's going. I have 3 major groups that I answer to. First and foremost, it's every associate in this company. I must demonstrate competency and integrity in my role. It's for you. The second group is some of the people you've met here. It's our corporate staff all over the world. I am accountable to them to make sure that their families are taken care of. And then there's a third group that you probably don't think about very often, and that's actually the shareholders of this company, the people that have invested in this company so that the company can grow. So there's 3 major groups, and I have to take care of them all the time. And it's a difficult job, I'll tell you that much. I have more bosses now than I've ever had in my life. And I tell people, I say, hey, if I want to get bossed around, I've got a little 4'10" Filipino wife, and she'll boss me around. So I'll just go home, and that will happen, okay? Okay, so let's look at Australia, New Zealand. There's 2 points of distribution here, one in Sydney, one in Auckland. So think about this. Over 100,000 orders of product were shipped last year in this market. You have impacted hundreds and thousands of people. That's how many orders. You directly are responsible for that. Okay, let's look at the different distribution points in Europe. Okay, we have Netherlands, we have Norway, we have Switzerland, and we have the United Kingdom. So you look at Europe as a whole, and these are the different shipments that we've got. So you add those up, just under 200,000 shipments of product in Europe. Some of you in this audience, you have people in those markets. You are making a difference on a totally different continent. So amazing, amazing. Okay, now let's look at Asia. We consider Asia Pacific one region. So we have Australia, New Zealand, and then our Asian countries. So 7 points of distribution throughout our Asian markets. So let's look at those first 3. We have Hong Kong, Singapore, and Taiwan. Those are the different number of shipments that went out last year. Okay, you add in there Thailand, a smaller market, Malaysia, Philippines, and then this acronym CBEC, that stands for Cross-Border E-Commerce. And what that is we operate through a third party in mainland China that is able to ship product to consumers in China. And so we look at this, and you add all those together, another nearly 200,000 orders shipped last year, impacting hundreds and thousands of lives. Massive region. Matter of fact, in just 2 weeks, we'll be on the road again in Asia, going to those markets. We are coming to the field. We need to hear your voices. We need to hear your frustrations, as long as you're nice about it. And we're improving every single day, but that's how important it is. And I will tell you that the stories that I've heard here will match up with the stories that I hear in Asia. And they will match up with the stories that I hear in Europe. And they will match up with the stories I hear in North America. So you're not unique in that fact, but I also want you to know that other people are having the same experiences that you are. Okay, let's look at North America. Obviously, the company was founded in North America, so this will be our biggest market. Just in the United States, last year, just under 400,000 orders. So some of you have people there. Some of you may have lived there in the past. This is our biggest market. They have every advantage. And that's what I tell them. You can say the most about the product, because in the United States, for ASEA Redox supplement, we are in fact a supplement. So when we talk about different studies, we can actually release those, and they can share those studies. So they have every advantage. They can come to the corporate office. They can come to the Redox Center. They can do all those things. So when they start being a little whiny, I tell them, not so much. Okay, go to Australia, go to New Zealand. They can't say anything about the product. Go to Europe, you can't even say Redox. Okay, so obviously our biggest region. Right at the Redox Center is where we ship from, so right there in Utah. We also have 2 points of distribution in Canada, one in Mexico, one in Miami, Florida, and this is what ships to the Dominican Republic and Colombia. So again, think global. As you're building your business and you're saying, I'm running out of people to talk to. No, you're not. There's plenty of people to talk to, okay? You can have other countries, and obviously by the way social media works, you're never going to run out of people, okay? And we have offices around the world. We have points of distribution, and we can take care of it for you. So that's all taken care of, okay? Now let's zoom in on the last part. We have a very unique opportunity. So let's go through these really quickly. Just in Australia, New Zealand, Asia, these are the number of new associates last year. Now, the thing that we need to do is we need to get more associates. We need to get more people interested in the product. And then we have a classification of customers. So you're going to see over the next few months an emphasis on customers. We're going to give you more tools to just approach people as consumers so that they can look at the product and say, yes, I'm interested in that product. And you don't need to tell them about the right side or the left side or the binary or the pools or anything. You just need to say, are you interested? And they'll say, yes, I'm very interested in that. Okay, so these are new people that are joining our business. Here's the amazing thing, and I see some of you that have been involved since the very beginning in this market. 70%, a little over 70% of all the orders shipped every single week are actually a subscription. Now, let me say that again. 70% of our weekly orders are a subscription. What does that mean? It means the product works. It means people stay on the product for a long time. So we're not built that we just need new people to come in. We need some more, but what we need is we need good, solid product users. And that's why the company over time is going to be so very stable. Here's the other thing. Last year alone, we paid out over $50 million US in commissions, just straight commissions. That has impacted thousands of lives. So what a financial opportunity for people. Okay, now Kim Marie talked about this. Before I mentioned this, Kim Marie is actually one of the original employees of ASEA. She just passed her 15-year mark. And over time, she's moved into different roles. So now that advance in recognition also includes ethos. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our Advancing Life Foundation and give you some statistics there. When you get sufficient for your needs, then it's time to start thinking about others. So first and foremost, you need to take care of yourself. You need to make sure that you can take care of your family, take care of yourself. But once you get to a point where you can take care of others, that's when it really becomes amazing. So our Advancing Life gives us an opportunity to do that. So we talked about clean water. Clean water is what everybody needs. And we've had some great experience with it. I would say as a company, we're pretty much specialists on water. So we know everything about water there is. And that's what's interesting is we get to supply that through wells in different countries. We're also able to support students, meals, gardens. So something as simple as having people plant gardens. A hoop house is kind of like a greenhouse. And for the Native Americans in the United States, what we were able to do at an Indian reservation was we were able to help them with a hoop house so they can grow their own vegetables. So just small things like that, but it makes a huge difference. Human trafficking is something that's so appalling that we do everything that we can to stop that. So we're going to go as far as training dogs, pay for them to be trained. And what a dog does is they will be able to sniff out electronics. So in order to run that kind of trafficking, there has to be some kind of record. Usually it's on cell phones or it could be on a computer. And so they'll hide those. The smugglers or the traffickers will hide those. The dogs are specifically trained to find the electronics. Once you find the electronics, you can help shut those operations down. So we'll pay for that. Yeah. So forensic labs, all these different things, medical clinics, these are things that the Advancing Life Foundation is doing. Because ASEA has a charitable arm called the Advancing Life Foundation, we actually pay for people that work for the company to run that. Okay? And they do that on their own accord. So it's really amazing opportunity for us to put those dollars to work like that. We also have expeditions around the world, right? So I'll show you a couple of them here. So 9 years of impact with Advancing Life. Okay, so let's talk about some of the expeditions. My beautiful wife and I were able to go to Ecuador. Okay? Ecuador means on the equator. So right in Ecuador is the exact center of the earth because it's on the equator and both longitude and latitude match up, so that's right in the center. We were able to have an amazing opportunity to serve people in Ecuador. This is where we built a vocational school and impacted hundreds and hundreds of lives. Now, if you go there, you will see that this is a pretty wild place. I would say this is the outback of South America. Okay? Amazing place. Standing over there. The house that's up there, that's actually the house that my wife and I stayed in for a week. And it was about as tough of living conditions as you can get to. The first night we were there, there was a blanket on the bed. They had a nice mosquito net for us and everything. The problem was the blanket had fleas. And so we woke up the next morning with all these flea bites all over us. And so we decided not to use that blanket anymore. Okay, but amazing opportunity to live with a host family. No internet. That was amazing. So no cell contact, nothing like that. And we were able to work directly with the people there. Now let's talk about another one. So we were able to serve in Cambodia as well. Love this opportunity. The people of Cambodia are so happy. And you know what? They don't have anything to be happy about. They live in super difficult situations. And we were able to go there and serve those people. You saw the pictures yesterday with Kim Marie. We actually moved the house down the road. Never done that before. Some of the people here were with us in Cambodia. The interesting thing about me is I was raised on a farm. So I grew up milking cows, growing crops, doing those things. So for us to go to Cambodia, and one of these pictures, this is the rice drying after they've harvested the rice. Well, I grew up harvesting wheat. So it was very similar. It was like going back home and seeing these people. And the one thing they lacked was clean drinking water. So these very easy to install wells, they were only $300 and $400 US each. We paid people to do the wells. They impacted hundreds of lives. And the amazing thing is then they were able to grow gardens, have a stream of income, and they were able to be healthy. And we went to one of the schools, we painted the school, and we were actually there on a Sunday. So the children weren't required to be there. But we gave them each like a stick of bread. And it was such a gift for them. They were so very, very happy because they don't get bread. Matter of fact, most of the time the only meal they get was when they went to school. So we were able to impact their lives. It was an amazing opportunity. Okay, let's advance. There we go. So the Advancing Life Foundation with ASEA is when we have an event or we have a fundraising drive like this, what we'll do is we'll match dollar for dollar what's donated. And that's a way that we can make a difference with the company. Now remember, our ethos of this company is to make a difference. And that's what we're doing. We're making a difference with all the things that we do. We believe that we have a moral obligation, which is much different than a financial obligation. A moral obligation to be a force for good. You'll see this in the way we treat people. You'll see this in the way we do our business. This is part of who we are. We're here to make a difference. We have an amazing technology that has been a tremendous opportunity for us. The technology is continuing to develop more and more. That's what we're doing. That's what we're here. There's also an opportunity to have a long-lasting business, a legacy business, something that will last far beyond any of us. This is the ethos of ASEA. So we have advancing life. We have all these things. This is how we feel. So when we approach the